So you do know who those people are, right?
Well, you said it was the Wrecking Crew.
Dude, it's the Wrecking Crew. It
That's
is.
so great.
It
What does
is.
that mean?
Welcome back to another ChaoticCorp podcast episode. I'm your host Jordan. This is Tristan. Just watched episode 3 of She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get into it. I was actually very surprised by this episode. I actually liked this episode more than the other two for like, I don't even know how to explain it. It just felt like there was more going on that kept.
This isn't gonna be a weekly cameo episode. Remember whose show it is.
I did like that.
Yeah,
Fourth
that
wall
was
break.
cool.
That was a good fourth wall break. Also, I really didn't expect um, Wong to be in the show. If I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't.
I didn't either, but I mean, it's not like after like No Way Home, it's not like far fetched to get that actor to do like small shit here and there.
Right.
You know, because he was in No Way Home for like what, probably less than what he was in here for. I mean, technically he was in here for like 2 scenes, but like I'm talking like screen time wise, you know.
Right.
So like,
True.
you know, I didn't expect it, but like in the end, am I really surprised? Not really.
Also, I kind of been hearing a lot more stuff. Going forward with what I'm about to say, I've
Mhm.
always heard it, but now I'm hearing a lot more, and now I'm seeing a lot more about what people mean. A lot of people have been saying that nothing has been the same since Endgame, and I kind
Oh
of
yeah,
agree. Now,
because I feel like there's no real like point B to all this. Now, like the first 4 phases had their own, or is this phase 4 or is this phase
this is
5?
phase
This
four.
is
It's phases 1 through 3, then
it's
5, 6.
weird. So yeah, so like the first 3 phases had its um it had its like own set of like a point B. There was an end game to it.
Right.
Um they teased Thanos in like 2012, and then that built on for like 6 years for 2 different payoffs and 6 years and 7 years after. Um and like a lot of like MCU films were just pushing like the overall narrative of Thanos. Like I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy, while it was a good movie, was to push like, oh, there's a galaxy full of like different people and shit. Like it's just like world building. You know,
I'll
they
kind
use
of agree to that.
it just seemed like I don't know how to like go into specifics with other things. But it was setting up the story for Endgame. Like Civil War showed how the Avengers were
Mhm.
split up, and which is why they were defeated so easily in Infinity War.
I remember the
Um,
Russo brothers
mhm.
mentioning that.
I'm pretty sure they directed Civil
I
War as
think they
well.
did too, yeah.
So you know everything was kind of set up for those 2 different payoffs. Now we've had those payoffs.
We've had it
There
in
were
Loki. Loki, Loki for me was probably the only realistically serious project for this whole phase so far. Um,
well, there was also No Way Home,
well, I don't know, like when I
because
mean
No
by
Way Home is in Phase 4,
serious,
isn't it?
yeah, it is. So, but okay, so like hear me
Oh,
out.
so you're trying to say like setting stuff up?
Well, more or less, but like okay, hear me out on this, right? There's a
Hmm.
tone with all phases 1 through 3.
Yeah.
There's like it's like just serious. It's like not as many jokes, not as
Hmm.
I honestly really don't care about jokes, but there is a limit in my personal opinion. Um and there's just the tone that the phases 1 through 3 really set, like
Right.
shit's getting real by the
Hmm.
movie. People are dying. We haven't really had anyone die yet in phase 5 or 4. I'm sorry, and we haven't really had anybody die yet in phase 4, which I'm not saying everyone has to be, but I'm just saying like it's I don't know. Things were, I keep using the word serious, but like that's just kind of the only thing that really comes to my mind.
It had its own like set of like where it's going. Like
Hmm.
like yeah, there was like jokes here and there, but like you knew that like around the corner, Thanos' plan was like coming into action because as we were going through like phase 2 and 3, we were noting where the Infinity Stones were and like what's gonna happen to them. You know, whereas with
Right.
phase 4, it just aside from like Loki and I don't think Spider-Man really set up anything. If anything, it dialed Spider-Man back, which I'm not downing on, but like my point is he's going to be a lot less important now in the
Well,
scale of like big battles.
I mean
But
that's true. I feel like they're going
but
in a
the
different
overall,
direction with
yeah,
him, which is fine.
amazing film in my opinion. I think the ending was what it needed to be. However, with that said, that along with like it's like stuff like Moon Knight. Moon Knight's its own little story. It doesn't serve like a greater purpose.
That I mean,
At
I
least
I
not
like
yet.
to believe that he'll be a part of something.
Mm.
Like I've said in previous podcasts.
Perhaps, perhaps, but at the same time, it just feels like I don't know. It just it feels different the way that they did Moon Knight. I could see
In
She-Hulk
a good way,
being
though.
a thing.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, in a good way, but I don't know if it's going to be compatible with like if you could throw that character in with like in an MCU movie. Like
Maybe
what
not.
exactly?
Maybe not. See, what I've heard that they're possibly gonna do with Spider-Man is that he's obviously street level now.
Hmm.
And there's a big theory that he's gonna be a part of. He's gonna join forces with the Fantastic Four, like what he did in the comics. Because like they were the very first two real big groups, or not groups, but one was a group, one was a person, but they were the two biggest at the time, and they did join forces a bunch, and they were really good friends in the comics. So somehow he'll join up with them, but I feel like before that happens, because we have two other phases before then, and
Hmm.
within those phases, obviously we're gonna get our next three or possibly two movies.
Right.
But like somewhere along the lines, they've got to bring in the Defenders back. Actually like canonized. You know what I mean? Like I know that there's technically the Netflix shows were already canon, but like officially, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because even Daredevil's getting his first
I
his
I
show.
think I
And
think that I think that the whole like Daredevil thing will segue into like yeah all this shit happened and just like confirm it as canon.
I don't know.
I
I
mean
have
I'm
some
just
really
saying
cool
like
cover
I
art.
don't know like I don't know like why they wouldn't to be honest
That's
you
true.
know.
I mean, I saw some really cool cover art where it was him in a black suit. And I don't
Hmm.
know too much. I haven't really read any of the comics. I think there was at one point a black suit, which actually looks really cool. Um, but I don't know. Maybe they will start doing teaming up.
Hmm.
I don't. I really don't know. But to go back what we were talking about before, I do. You know, I feel like Loki was mainly the only thing that really set up something so far. Um,
And Shang-Chi, but like that was very brief.
Definitely Shang-Chi. Probably maybe like the next saga. Maybe I mean I hope to God not. I mean maybe I don't even know if there's a possibility that we could get a Shang-Chi too. I really don't know. It'd be cool.
And Eternals kind of set up that one dude to return.
Who?
The
Oh,
the
Black
big
Knight?
ass no the big ass
Arishem? I believe it was Arishem.
whatever the big ass Sentinel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see,
Yeah,
the Sentinels,
because
in my opinion, aren't bad. You know,
yeah, but he literally like was like, all right, I'm gonna look through your memories,
oh, and judge the
um,
Earth.
and then we're gonna see if they're worthy of like being judged. And that one motherfucker was in the middle of Hiroshima, so like,
Yeah. So,
but yeah,
what does
so
that have to do
what
with
I'm saying
anything?
is, I feel like that was also setting up him to come back, but same time, it just feels like another thing that they threw at the wall. Like, yeah, he'll come back, but like, is he really gonna be that much of a threat? Threats like that are usually just like made to show how powerful a character is. And they're not really meant to be threatening. They're just like, oh, here's this huge power scale. Have this other person.
I mean, I guess so. I really don't
And
know.
that's basically what like Galactus was like. Like these motherfuckers going out like going around eating planets and like some motherfucker who come around and like beat his ass. They're like, "Hey, I'm strong because I beat Galactus."
Oh, I've heard theories about a Wonder Man show. Wonder Man is a thing. I don't know why they gave him the name Wonder Man. Wonder Man is a thing in the comics. Don't worry. But the guy who played that actor who played the Mandarin, who was a fake Mandarin, he was in Shang-Chi.
Mhm.
Reports there was a rumor reported that he reprised his role as whatever his name in the movie was, like Eric or something.
Mhm.
Like his actual civilian ID, not the Mandarin, but you know,
Yeah.
um, so like he would be in the Wonder Man show, not as Wonder Man, but like he'd help the guy who is Wonder Man. I don't know, but I'm glad that they're giving no name characters the spotlight. Spotlight, kind of like Moon Knight. Now everyone knows about Moon Knight. She-Hulk, especially. You know, I think
Mm.
and to go way back, I do kind of like She-Hulk for the most part. Whether or not it's going to set up anything, I have no idea. But like at the same time, I feel like the shows don't necessarily need to set up anything. They just don't always need to happen. Like Hawkeye, for instance, didn't need to really happen. Because that didn't set up anything. That just
It set up Kate Bishop.
yeah, you're right. Frick. Never
It
mind.
set up Echo.
Yeah, but I don't even know who the Echo is in the comics. I don't
You
know who that is.
know who she is through the TV show of
From
Hawkeye.
the
You ever,
TV
you
show.
ever watched it?
I
You
watched.
ever
We talked
you
about it
ever you,
once.
you ever watch Hawkeye?
Yes, we talked about it.
I know we did. That's what I'm being sarcastic about. It's
Yeah,
like, yep, it's set up. It set up some
it's
stuff
set
that
up. It's set up. I don't know. God knows what. Set up a
it's
new
they
love
set up a
interest for Spider-Man. No, it set up a new love interest for Daredevil. I don't fucking know. But I mean, I don't
not
know.
Gwen Stacy.
Not Gwen Stacy, who was also
Not
deaf. Not deaf Stacy. Um,
not Gwen Stacy from both of the other universes.
not She-Hulk as a show so far. I feel like I don't know. I mean, it's enjoyable, but I
Yeah,
definitely want
yeah.
us to get back to where they start connecting these shows and movies. Like, I was
Hmm.
surprised that they made a Thor 4. I still am, but like after telling the story of Lady Thor, um, like I was like, okay,
I
that's
think that
cool.
was a good end to her character, and I also feel like it did set up like Thor's adventures with basically love and thunder.
Right, and
No,
I mean, sure, but at the same time, I feel like you know he kind of
Thor's a single space dad.
well, I feel like now he left the Guardians, like that would have been
Mhm.
something to stay with. Maybe they'll get back together. I don't know. I don't. There's well, there's supposed to be another
And
Guardians
then
movie.
James Gunn was like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do with Thor? Can someone like do something, please?" It looked at Watiti like, "Yeah, I know you got some shit up your sleeve. Can you just pull some like bullshit? I don't know.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know what James Gunn would have done with him, but it would have been interesting to see.
Nothing." Because his main characters have like parental issues, and
James Gunn?
yeah, Star Lord had he spent the first movie like you know getting over his mom,
Right.
and he spent the second movie killing his dad. So like, and for Thor, both of his parents are already dead. So
And for
like,
Gamora,
yeah, and then yeah, Gamora with like Thanos, you know,
oh, and Drax and his family,
yeah,
but not so much Mantis yet, but like Rocket is such
Mantis.
a
Okay,
big thing.
okay, Mantis is like a joke character.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, guess
She
so.
has some seriousness to her, but like, let's be honest, she was mainly there for,
I
you
guess
know.
so. I mean, she's completely different in the comics.
Yeah.
But like Rocket apparently is supposed to, you
Yeah,
know,
he has like an emotional like backstory. It
well,
has nothing to do with
we're
like.
supposed to find out a lot about it in the next movie.
Mm,
I do think that they're gonna kill off Rocket and replace him with Adam Warlock. Um, that's
you
if
think they're gonna kill off Rocket?
dude. There's a huge theory when they came out with the.
Ugh.
You didn't hear about this? There was a huge theory that when they came out with the cover art for the name, that
Mhm.
like if you put it together, right, the first Guardians of the Galaxy, it was Groot that died. And it's been
Okay.
confirmed that Baby Groot is completely a new person, right?
Yeah.
Not just re-evolutionized or whatever you want to call it. And then in the second movie, it was Blue and Red. Yondu died.
Mhm.
In the third movie, people were anticipating because they couldn't really tell whether it looked more like Drax or looked more like Rocket. With
Oh, okay.
So I think they were theorizing at first that it was going to be Dave Bruschetta's character Drax dying because he had previously talked about him quitting if they
Mhm.
didn't hire James Gunn back. And this is going to be James Gunn's last movie. They hired him back because they didn't want to lose Dave.
Right.
So they said this is going to be his last movie. So most likely it's going to be Dave's last movie as well. Um, but so a lot of people are still theorizing that, but a lot of people are also theorizing it'll probably be Rocket, and then being replaced, whichever the two, just being replaced with Adam Warlock. Um, so that'll be kind of interesting. I'm definitely
Mhm.
excited to see Adam Warlock. I just hope that James. I mean, I do trust James Gunn that he's gonna do a good job at making Adam Warlock a good character. Um, but you know, I feel like nowadays they are trying to just put a little bit more humor, and like I already said this before, Phase 4 so far is more so um,
Little small stories that doesn't really connect with each other so
and
far.
just kind of more full of humor than like seriousness, and just
Mhm.
like like has like a specific tone. I don't think we'll ever get that mood that we had in the first three phases again. I mean, like, I just mainly started talking about this because of after watching this episode of She-Hulk. Like,
And
I don't
that's
know,
just the
like
thing
the
now
elf.
is I feel like oh yeah, go on. Let's go back to the actual show. The elf.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say because like after watching those court scenes with the elf, the
Mhm.
Asgardian elf that can shapeshift, um, like what? Like that was so silly in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like
I still
one of
enjoyed it though. I ain't gonna lie, that shit was funny.
wait what?
But I think that shit was kind of funny. I ain't gonna
No,
lie.
no, no. I mean, it's not like
But
it's a bad thing. It's
right.
just like if you're expecting something and
But
they don't give it to you, then you're gonna be hugely let
here's the thing.
down.
It did push the narrative though. Like this whole episode did push the narrative. Like
What do you
yes,
mean?
we had our little side story with the elf, but our main narrative was the abomination and what's going on with him.
Oh, you mean
And it did.
that they finally we
Well,
finally
what I'm
came to a
saying is, what I'm
conclusion with
saying
him?
is, yes. Oh, what I was saying is, yes. We have the side story, but it wasn't a filler episode.
It's true.
Maybe there was filler time, but I feel like it still served in
Hmm,
an
okay.
audience enjoyment purpose. But it did still spend a good amount of time, enough time to push forward the abomination um, narrative.
Okay.
Where we're going after that, I'm not sure, but it pushed that narrative. It also set up another narrative. Of course, it was like a small fight scene that did it, but the small fight scene. Um,
We got to talk about that. You
yeah,
realize who
but
those people were, right?
no, but you do. But I just want to point out that it did before you say anything, it did push or at least introduce a new narrative. Like people are trying to get her blood. seems like anyway. There's some other like boss entity, whether it be serious or not, that hired these four individuals on
Mhm.
to get She-Hulk's blood for some kind of purpose.
It's always that, like, because you got to remember um, that they were working on a super soldier serum,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm guessing that's what they think that Bruce has, maybe.
Or
Because
maybe perhaps they're just trying to recreate the same mutation.
that's true. Well,
Now,
let's remember.
now that they could see through like what Bruce is now, and see what She-Hulk is, they could see there's not going to be like a split personality between Rage Monster and who they are.
That's true.
There's a
That's why they're.
possibility. There's a possibility, and people could see there is a possibility to go Hulk and not be completely feral. So now I guess that these idiots got like the idea of like, okay, we're gonna get that blood, we're gonna inject somebody, yada yada. They're gonna get power. We're gonna get power. Everyone's gonna get power. Um, I think that's what the main narrative is gonna be. Now, whether this works or not, I don't know because there's a lot of like science that goes into it. Like Bruce does a bunch of shit, and then
I just had a
you
theory.
know what's that?
I keep wanting to believe that, Bruce is back on Sakaar, which he probably is,
By now, yes.
100%. But I'm theorizing that most of these shows have had an end credit scene at the very end. What if?
Most of them are for fun, but yeah.
Right. What if? Well, a couple of them have actually been pretty serious, like Loki. Apparently, Miss Marvel was kind of serious, setting up.
Oh, I'm talking about She-Hulk specifically.
Oh, no, I'm
Go
sorry.
on.
No. She-Hulk is the first show to have uh, a end credit scene for every episode. More or less, it's just kind of silly and for fun.
Yeah.
But for the most part, most of them have had serious end credit scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm theorizing that what if, to continue off of what you were saying, that there is some other big boss now trying to obtain She-Hulk, Jennifer's blood, for whatever reason. What if
Mm-hmm.
they do succeed by the end of the show, and she contacts Bruce, tells him, and then he's just like freaking out, and he's like, okay, I'm on my way home, but then something stops him, and then we get to see him like on Sakaar, and we get to see like a little bit more of that, and then it just kind of leads into like World War Hulk more.
Yeah.
That's what I would like for to happen. I feel like, I don't know, because like the ultimate end game that we know now, well, I mean, we found out, back in like phases 1 through 3, but the main focus for phases 4 through 6 is Kang the Conqueror. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of theorizing that, things like shows like maybe Shang-Chi might be a part of it, but he's got something else going on. Definitely Loki's gonna be in there. I have no idea how they're gonna, create a new Avengers team. Hopefully, we get to see that. But I don't know. Hopefully it'll go that route where we see him back on Sakaar and stuff. But so you do know who those people are, right?
Well, you said it was the Wrecking Crew.
Dude, it's the Wrecking Crew.
That's so great. What does that mean? I just wanna like go back to the reference to that in No Way Home where Tom was like, "Oh, I was part of the Avengers," and Toby was like, "That's so great, great. What is that?" That was literally me when you were like, "It's the Wrecking Crew." But
That's
go on.
funny. No, I like that. Yeah,
I just want to point that out.
he was like, the Avengers? That's great.
The Avengers.
What are they?
Are they a band?
Are they a band?
Band?
That's so funny. No, but it's so weird because like they didn't really touch up on more that like there was a Doctor Strange in that universe.
Yeah, I remember like seeing that shit, and they
That
just
was
never
already
really.
taken. That name is
Yeah.
already taken. That's funny, but I'm pretty sure Stanley wasn't thinking more about it, or Sam Raimi. It would
Yeah,
have
but
been
then
Sam
again,
Raimi.
If he is he really like a sorcerer in that universe though? You have to think about this. Like he was still famous for like being like a surgeon,
Right.
a neurosurgeon. So like he could have just not been a sorcerer at all in that universe. He could just literally just be a famous person called Doctor Strange. So like the
Maybe.
possibilities are either mundane or like you know. But go on.
That's true. Yeah, no, but the fact that one of them had a crowbar and the other one had a helmet, like a construction helmet,
Okay, listen. They were
just gave
cool,
it away.
sort of, but the fucking helmet guy swinging his head around was like, what the fuck is he doing, bro? Like,
No, but just like I wanted to make a reference to how basically all of phases 1 through 3 and even the beginning of phase 4, it was all about like everyone was a byproduct, a villain that came from freaking Iron Man, Tony Stark, right? You had, in Spider-Man 2, you had, Mysterio.
it was an Iron Man villain.
He was a Iron Man villain. Wait,
I didn't see. Sorry.
go now? Talk now?
Where's the grain, Jordan? Jordan.
Keep saying something.
Jordan. Jordan.
Okay, we're gonna try over here. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, he was an Iron Man villain, basically.
He was an Iron Man villain. Like all the Iron Man villains are so like pissy, bro.
They are.
They're
But
literally
that only added more to like the seriousness of the issue.
the serious. Tony Stark spat on my shoe 90 years ago, and now I want to commit genocide. Like it's just, like, you know what I mean? It's the same shit. It gets more ridiculous, bro. That sad ass Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2
Now
believed
he's gonna be an Iron
believed
Wars. Armor
believed
Wars.
that this asshole millionaire was gonna beat him on the rooftop, and when he did
Yeah,
meet him on the
wrong
rooftop,
person. Wrong person.
who was that?
You're talking
Who
about the
was that?
Mandarin meeting him up on the roof,
I thought that
and
was
you're
Justin
talking about
Hammer.
Justin Hammer.
Oh, the Mandarin. Isn't he?
Justin Hammer was involved in Iron Man 2 with the armor suits and
So
Whiplash.
who is?
Whiplash.
Oh, he was just stupid. Like I don't know if like
Whiplash was
Tony
stupid?
wronged him. No, well,
Well,
no.
Whiplash was a little stupid, but like he had
Justin
good
Justin
potential.
Hammer Justin Hammer was just like a sad businessman. No, so okay, the Mandarin, whoever his actual name is, because he's not Mandarin really.
He's not really the Mandarin. That was
Yeah.
I can't even remember his name either, but he
I
was
just
an
want to
old
make the
friend.
point. He was not a friend. I just want to make the point that his whole little thing, he went on the rooftop, cried about it, and then swore death to Tony Stark to the point where he like um, did human like testing and shit for like to have
I
people
don't think that
explode.
was
Like,
necessarily Tony's fault. It was always a thing that company AIM was what was going to do.
right, I know, but like
AIM is
the
like a
dude
lesser version of the
running it,
Hydra.
the main dude running it was like Tony Stark didn't see me on a rooftop 20 years ago, and now I'm gonna kill his wife.
You're not wrong, but at the same
I
time,
I'm
when
just
you really
saying,
think
like,
about it,
sad, bro.
when
They
you
sad.
when you really think about it, a lot of them were a little corny, because
Yeah.
well, you had Obadiah
I,
Stane, which just wanted his
see,
money, and then
see.
saw
Here's the thing. Obadiah Stane made sense in a way.
it did.
He was a shady businessman. He tried to have this man hit in Afghanistan, which would have made sense. Um, it didn't work, and he decided to try to do it himself after Tony went to even plunge the company even worse. You
Mhm.
know, like not only like Obadiah Stane had his like set on this like just this fortune, and
Right.
then when his shot missed, Tony came back, and in his eyes was just destroying the fortune,
Right.
turning the company into a new direction, totally different direction. He's like, dude, we don't, we're arms dealers. We don't do this shit. So like his made sense in a way. The
No, it
rest
did.
of the
And then,
rest of the Iron Man villains were just kind of like,
well, let's go
you
down
know,
the list because Iron Man 2,
okay.
you had
Iron Man
Justin
2 had
Hammer.
Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer was, trying to copy his company. He got,
Hmm.
in trouble and lost money because him being stupid tried to copy Tony, so that's his own fault.
Yeah.
And then you had Whiplash, who was a literal Russian dude who got pissed off at Tony because his dad said this is who you should have been because of his
Is that what
knowledge of.
happened? Because I don't remember.
Yeah, he was like, because he's got all this like knowledge about like mechanic. He was like a mechanic, an engineer, and he
So
could just energize all this stuff. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna kill this guy.
His dad was literally an Iron Man fan.
Right.
Tony
Yes.
Stark built this thing in a cave with a box of scraps.
And
Probably
then,
it's probably all that he heard through his entire childhood. I can understand why a man would have so much rage.
and then
after that shit.
in Iron Man 3 was the fake
The Mandarin.
Fake Mandarin.
He got his yee ass haircut
And,
on top of a fucking roof,
yeah,
crying that like Tony Stark didn't read his like fan fiction, and then like 30 years down the line, he tries to steal his wife by like putting red explosion stuff in her. You know,
But
that
then-
sounds
and then you
bad,
have-
but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. And then, in Spider-Man Homecoming, you have the events that created,
Oh yeah, the Vulture, because the Vulture was technically
well, you had the event. Well, what started at the beginning? You had the events from Avengers,
Mhm.
which technically was Tony's dad's fault because they fished the Tesseract out of the ocean, and if it stayed down there, no one would have found it, right? Nick Fury wouldn't have found it, and they wouldn't have opened the portal, which caused everything. So it's Tony's lineage is fucked. It's cursed.
Yeah.
But no, realistically, his
Sure,
company.
down the line, Morgan's gonna do something horrendous. just because of the sole fact that she is Stark's blood.
That's so funny. But remember, Tony, created this company to demolition everything that happened from 2012. The invasion attack, pick up everything, and cost a bunch of people their jobs. Only one man decided to act on it and said, "Screw you! I'm gonna take this alien tech. We're gonna engineer it, reverse engineer it, and become bad guys and gain money, steal money, right?"
Yeah.
So that was one, and then
Before we
Homecoming-
go,
wait, no, real quick.
no,
Far From Home was
you-
Mysterio.
Far From Home. Yeah.
Far From Home was Mysterio. He was
Yeah.
he got called. He got his thing called Barf.
That was his main. It was his main problem was he not only stole my invention, but he called it barf.
Right.
Stop, bitch! Stop crying.
When you think about it, it's kind of silly, but like it wasn't. You didn't really. They weren't really making jokes. You just like years later, you watch those movies and you realize these are kind of silly, right? So then to go back to my original point, now we're like in Thor's, future. Thor's home is now on Earth, and everyone's visiting. Everyone loves it. You have technology that is being used by Earthlings, and people just stole some stuff, apparently from an Asgardian worker, construction worker. I don't understand that, and they just decide to beat up a lawyer with superhuman gamma radiated blood, and try to
As
steal it.
what happens.
That's what happens.
As what happens.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say there's gonna be a spin-off series called Morgan Stark, and it's just like her like I don't know elementary or like middle school just bullying a kid, and then like there's gonna be a 20-year time skip where that kid like I don't know just becomes something bad. Becomes the Mandarin point like 3.0.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, but like I can see it now. There's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff to come out of this this Thor stuff,
Mhm.
like the Asgardians.
I mean, like,
weaponry,
yeah.
whatever. I can already see it now. Oh, Thor ravaged he pillaged and took captive my women 40 years ago from my village. I've come to seek vengeance. you know, I don't know. It's just kind of odd, but I mean, I love the cameo of the group. I'm definitely interested to see where this goes. Hopefully it stays in the show. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully, by the end of the show, maybe we'll see another bad villain. What if they don't get what they want, and then eventually, or they do, and then they use it to create something much worse for like a bigger movie, not an Avengers movie, but like another movie.
Avengers level threat.
Huh?
Avengers level threat.
Yeah.
So okay, so here's my thing. This was, I don't know how many comics have this, but I know that Old Man Logan had it. Whereas they had a tribe of Hulks. There was like multiple Hulks, and I don't think any of them was like Bruce Banner Hulk, but like there was like a whole tribe of like Hulks that were like just fucking shit up.
Oh.
So we could be getting something like that out of this.
There was a bunch of concept art that I saw today, and a lot of it, and there was a big one from Shang-Chi where Deadpool was fighting somebody, some alien in the ring in Shang-Chi.
Huh.
Because remember, there was a bunch of people with powers and mutations there. So
yeah,
Deadpool would have been one of them, just fighting in the ring for money. That would have been cool to see, if I'm going to be honest with you. Another thing that I really want to call, this is probably like my favorite thing. No, actually, the Wrecking Crew is probably my favorite thing in this episode so far. But the other thing that I really enjoyed was a cameo, a call out. I don't know the exact wording that they used for it, but it was a reference to how Jennifer Walters got her power when she walked out of the prison. You have the news people, asking questions, this and that. That one lady was like, what did she say word for word? She said, is it true that you got your powers from a mob?
A mob hit.
Yeah, a mob hit. That was, I already showed it in the last podcast, but that was like how she got her powers, because she got shot by like a mobster who was trying to kill her client that she was trying to represent in a court case. So they were trying to kill the lawyer so that he couldn't get out. But yeah, no, that was really cool for me. Did you have like a favorite part in this episode so far?
Probably also the Wrecking Crew, but not for the same reason as you. I liked the fight scene, but I also was like, that dude with the helmet was just ridiculous, shaking his head around and shit.
It's kind of funny, yeah. I don't know, like, what did you think about Megan Thee Stallion being in this? When I heard...
It's not for me, but I feel like it was like a fun little thing, but I don't know, I don't know. And I feel like they knew what they were doing, making She-Hulk twerk.
Yes, they did.
Like, that's not me either. But I know there's some people out there that are
like, talking about that now, I like how in the show they were talking about the controversy this whole show, and we even talked about it before in the very first episode. There was a whole bunch of controversy with this whole show because it was a female-led show, right? And that's what they showed in this episode, that there was a bunch of like internet talk about, like, I don't know, man, I'd smash, I don't think this show is, or like, I don't think they don't like She-Hulk, this and that, and it was mainly men, so they were definitely showing the fans and the public that they do listen to the comments and stuff, which I like. They're not just hiding, they're definitely like, okay, we get it, you don't like it, but we're still gonna do it anyways.
I'm still gonna do it. Get over it.
Yeah, which is which is good
Which is good.
on Marvel's part.
Because people are like, I remember like when we did our first episode and like we read that this thing got like an 80% or like a higher than 80% like positive review. And I'm like, that's surprising. Not because it's bad or anything, it's because of like how many like big ass neckbeard virgins that there are. Like, put a female, oh, they don't exist. Like, you know, it's basically what
Right.
it is. You know, and that's they flock. Those people flock to Marvel and they flock to Star Wars. Remember, like people were sending like death threats and shit to Reva and shit.
Yes.
Like, you know,
And even
it's one
the
thing.
other Asian girl, Rose.
Oh, and Rose. And don't get me, I'm not a fan of Rose either. But like, holy shit, man! Like, like you gotta single handedly like threaten and like, you know, it's just it's. Fucking...
I haven't heard that much bad news about this about with this actor so far yet.
But I have seen. So I have seen some shit. Like people are still like what's the word? Criticizing it because of like certain shit. So like there was one dude, like I saw him on TikTok, I don't know who he is and he doesn't even deserve credit anyway, saying that you know, that She-Hulk or Jennifer Walters was comparing her life and saying how much harder it was to her than Bruce's life is to him. And someone else pointed out, and I also like came to this conclusion myself. I'm like, that's not what that scene was about. She was saying that she, on a daily basis, deals with like stressful situations and like basically like anger triggering like situations on like the base level, like everything that she does because of like, you know, women problems.
Right.
That
it wasn't meant to compare her as
she didn't say that she, because she's a woman, that she has more problems than Bruce, who has been to like outer space and like went to like different wars and shit. She didn't say that. She said that she can control her anger better than Bruce, or at least that the Bruce used to be able to. That was what she said. But some sexist asshole turned that around and said, "Oh, she's saying that she had a," you know, I don't know. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but like, make sure that if you want to like make an argument for something, make it make sense. Just make it make sense.
Right.
You know. But I'm sure there's like a lot more people saying a lot more stuff like that, and it's just sad that like it's sad that people can't like let themselves enjoy what is, you know.
True.
Like even like they did the same thing with Captain Marvel.
I didn't hear that much about Captain Marvel's controversy.
They dude,
I mean,
as soon as there was plenty, there was really plenty. Like the movie wasn't a 10 out of 10 for me. It was all right though.
Right.
But like I don't remember who's the girls. I don't remember the actress's name that plays Carol Danvers, but she was Brie Larson. That's what it was. Brie Larson was going around and she was saying like, you know, a bunch of stuff. I don't think it was really like bad, but it was like some people, it just wasn't received well. And so like people were hating on Captain Marvel, saying that she was a terrible actress, yada yada, blah blah blah, she's overpowered. And I'm like, just enjoy it for what it is, man.
Just, I get what you mean.
Why do you have to be hateful all the time? You don't have to be triggered. And if this really does trigger you, stop fucking watching the movies.
Right.
Just stop. You know.
Yeah, it's weird, but I mean, it happens. You know.
Yeah, it does. I'm just saying, like, it's the fan base is ruined shit, and
Definitely.
that's the baseline shit, and like, you know, which I'm not talking about any fan bases like watching us, you know.
Right.
Except if you're throwing like death threats at people, get the fuck off the video. I'm not in a position.
Said that before. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you drop in like racist comments, sexist comments, fucking death threats to people because you don't like them, get the fuck out of here. I'm not in a position to tell people to get the fuck out of here, but still, I don't want that in my community. Get the fuck out of here. other than that, I don't know. Just it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
And I feel like them putting Megan the Stallion in the episode kind of
I love how I went on
just
this
kind of
giant ass
smacked
rant.
them.
I love how I went on this giant ass rant over Megan the Stallion.
No,
Dude,
no, no,
see?
no, no, no. I'm agreeing with you, but like
Right.
then my next point was, I feel like to come back at the people, who do have a problem with this show, they have, CGI green Jennifer
Which
Walters twerk.
I will say I still don't like the CGI tour, but go on.
No, you're right. It is a little weird. I
Yeah,
I
I
I,
don't.
I find myself looking at her and I'm like, how is this a thing right now?
Right.
But like, yeah,
She's got makeup on as a Hulk.
they're
Her hair is done.
I don't like it in
Her,
a bunch. I don't like.
her hair is different, but it's done.
I like. I mean, the CGI is okay
It's
for
got
me when it's
highlights.
like down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not in like a bun. I don't know. There's certain looks, but no. Having Megan the Stallion in a show, it's odd when you think about it deep down, because she's
Uh,
famous in the show, but she's also a famous person on the show. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, it is weird trying to mix the two like realities together, but
Why would they have
yeah.
her singing that song as at the end of the show? Like, does
I
this
don't
have
know.
to be put under age restriction as well? Probably.
I
Probably.
mean, let's be honest here. We probably need that for Disney to do Daredevil, right?
Yeah,
So
oh yeah.
fuck it.
I'm
If
sorry.
that's what it
No, no, we
takes,
definitely
if
did.
that's what it takes, eh?
No, we definitely did. We definitely did. Um, so
But it was just like it was so I don't know. It was funny that whole thing, but also when she did like that little like
the tongue thing.
tongue noise in the courtroom, she's like, "I am the like." And she did that little like thing with the. I'm like, that's, oh my god.
On that note, I think we're good to wrap it up. Um, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for watching.
You can follow me.
Appreciate you.
You can follow me at twitch.tv/hotpocket61. Follow Tristan at twitch.tv/Paolo Your King. Mainly you find him on the YouTube. Put in your other thing.
Oh yeah, so W Energy. I'm officially sponsored by W Energy. If you are in the market for like G Fuel, like I can't I know, cut that out. If you're in the market for like like gaming energy drinks that don't give you like jitters or a crash, um W Energy is definitely a good one to look into. Um if you go to w.gg, you can get a 10% discount off of any order if you use the code Corp King. Um, and they have like a bunch of flavors. I think they're adding new ones. They even have ones that aren't even energy. They're more so like hydrated like water with like electrolytes now. So that's definitely something else you could look into if you're not even in the market for energy drinks. If you're in the market for like just like a Mio almost. Um, so yeah, that's
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing.
code Corp King for 10% off.
You heard it here, folks. Go check out W Energy. Use the code. We appreciate you.
Corp King.
Thanks for listening.